Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome back to the Snake Rack Report. And as you can see, we have a bag of frozen thawed mice right here. These are the ones that I feed to my snakes right before they move out of my Mini 130 rack. And these probably get fed to them up until, I don't know, almost before they're getting close to the size where they need to move actually out of the 1065. But today, I wanted to talk about where you should buy your frozen rodents. And I'm always going to be the person that says, if you can buy things in bulk, buy them in bulk. You really should not be going to Petco to buy one rat at a time. Obviously, if you have one snake, that's probably your best option because you can't place an order through one of the major suppliers like ARS or Rodent Pro or Cold Blood Cafe and, spend a good price per rodent in terms of value, but then spend a bunch of money on shipping. It doesn't make sense, especially because your snake's probably going to outgrow that one bag of rodents. But for those of you that have multiple snakes, this is who this video is for. So my story with this is when I started breeding and I started buying frozen thawed, I started off with Rodent Pro, which I would assume is the company that a lot of people, if not most people, use to buy their bulk rodents. I've never had really a bad experience with them. They always ship on time. The orders were always correct. From what at that time that I noticed, the pricing was okay, and the rodents were, reliable sizes, because usually when you and I'm going to use medium rats for example, because that's mainly what I was buying at that point in time. And that's really mainly what I buy now is medium rats. Obviously, I buy some of those mice too, because these are basically the size that I try to switch my snakes over to on frozen thawed. Once the snake is big enough to take a mouse this big, these are usually the rodents that I try to switch them over with. So it's really just those and like small mice or small rats and medium rats that I ever buy. But a lot of it's mainly medium rats because my blood pythons, my boas, and my bigger ball pythons, like, let's see, this big, oh, she left me a nice poop in there. These big girls like this, I have a couple that take frozen thawed. So that's where I started buying my frozen thawed from, back in 2019. They were the first company I came across online when I did a search. That's who I was buying from. The issue that I started seeing with them over the years was that anytime you buy rodents from anybody online, they give you a weight range of what that rat or mouse or whatever ASF is. And it'll say, it's 100 grams to 120 grams, or it's 100 grams to 150 grams, or it's 70 grams to 100 grams. Whatever the sizing is, they're usually close to each other from supplier to supplier, but they still give you a range of what size that prey item is. Well, I started to notice that the mediums that I was buying from them, from Rodent Pro, started getting on the smaller side consistently. So much so that I was kind of considering them to be smalls because they really weren't good size meals for my big females anymore. They started off that way. They were a good size. By the time I stopped using Rodent Pro, they were pretty much small rats, or what I consider to be a small rat. Please do not ask me what the weights were. I don't remember. I do not weigh my prey. I look at the snake, I look at the rodent, and I feed. So I have no idea. I've never weighed a rodent in my entire life. So please do not ask what the weights were or are. But they weren't mediums anymore. They started shifting down until they basically look like smalls to me, what I would consider a small rat. And I was like, I need to start making a change. I need to start looking. I looked around through other places. I think I looked at Cold Blooded Cafe. There were a couple other smaller vendors I found online, and I didn't really think that the pricing was aggressive enough. Basically it was like, well, even though Rodent Pro's price or the sizes were kind of shrinking a little bit, the pricing was still good enough that it didn't justify switching to somebody else to pay more, to hope that I'm getting a good sized rodent. Until I found out, and this is funny because we talked about this on my Patreon, and everybody's like, what? The ARS, American Rodent Supplier, they sell frozen stuff. They don't just sell rat racks and snake racks. They actually sell frozen thawed rodents. And if you go to arscaging.com, on the homepage, you get the option to pick from the the frozen food section of the business, or the rack manufacturing side of the business. There's something else too. I don't know what it was. Not only did they have better prices than Rodent Pro, when I actually placed the order and got the food, the frozen rodents, they were actually the appropriate size. So I started buying from ARS, and I really haven't looked back. The pricing had always continued to be better. The actual rodent sizes were the appropriate sizes. And I love the racks, as you can see. I have all of the racks except for the one Freedom Breeder rodent rack I have, which I'm not a fan of either. I prefer ARS's style. So I'm like all in on ARS's stuff. No, I do not get paid by them for this to say this. I'm not sponsored by them in any way. This is my own personal experience. And it's the same thing with shipping. I'm not sponsored by any shipping companies, and I'll probably make another shipping video at some point because I don't know when the last time I covered that was. But I was using Ship Your Reptiles for a very long time. I think probably the first 3 or 4 years I was doing this, and I don't know what even made me look, but I looked somewhere else and found out that Reptiles Express had prices that were significantly cheaper. Just from the get-go, just being a brand new customer, the prices were cheaper. And I haven't seen any sort of customer service difference between the two companies. So the moral of the story is you need to shop around. Just because you currently use a vendor for your your frozen rodents, for your shipping, for your rodent food, whatever it is, all of the supplies that get depleted and need replenished on a month-to-month basis, you really need to shop around, because it can be a huge difference in what's actually leaving your pocketbook, how much money you're spending, what your expenses are on a monthly basis. I know a lot of people that solely use frozen thawed, and their bills can be hundreds of dollars at a time every month. And that makes a big difference when there's a 10-cent or 20-cent difference for each rodent, or when those rodents are 30 grams smaller and 20 cents more expensive per rodent. It makes a huge difference, because your snake's getting a bigger meal, you're paying more, or you're paying less, and you're getting more for your dollar. So you need to shop around. I haven't even purchased from ARS since December, because I decided at that point, I was like, you know what, I need to rack up some expenses for the snake company. So I took my my credit card, and I just made like $1,000 purchase on ARS, so that I had $1,000 worth of expenses to write off at the end of the tax year. And I stocked up. I have like 3 freezers full of rodents. They're starting to get depleted now, but I think it probably should last me through the rest of the year, or at least until I need to do that again. And I purchased that, I think, around Black Friday, or right after Black Friday, when they were having a sale. It was like 15% off or 10% off or something like that off of your entire purchase. And it may have even been free shipping. So I saved, I think when I calculated it, I saved several $100s buying during that sale, buying in bulk, getting the free shipping, getting the discount. I'm actually holding off until Black Friday again if I need another rack to buy one, because they usually do 10-15% off then as well. So moral of the story is, shop around for everything. Shop around for your frozen stuff. Shop around for your shipping supplies, even your boxes. Like, if I primarily use Reptiles Express for my labels, if something happens that Ship Your Reptiles or Redline is having a sale on their boxes, I'll buy the boxes there. Like it's just I'm at a point where like I need to make sure that every dollar coming in here and out of here is maximized. And that's just how it works. You know, if Ship Your Reptiles gets my money for the materials and I'm using Reptiles Express to buy all my labels, you know, they both get a little bit of my money and everybody's happy, right? So shop around because it does make a difference. You could be getting a better value somewhere else. And in the terms of frozen rodents specifically, there's a big difference for me when I switched from Rodent Pro over to buying my frozen thawed stuff through ARS.